Diamonds on my wrist when I step up on a diamond. Diamond, diamond, diamond. Diamond. Diamond, diamond, diamonds on my wrist when I step up on
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. The Freight Coach Morning Show, the top transportation morning show, to break down 3 industry articles and provide some additional actual insight into how do you navigate through all of this shit that's going out there. And you see all these headlines, and, you know, at the end of the day, we still have to act in these moments. We can't just say certain things are shifting and then do nothing about it, because we're the operators. We're the people who are in there on the front lines who are still making sure this freight is moved. I got a very special guest for you today. You guys probably recognize him. If you don't, I got Mr. Gabe Pankin in here. You guys should follow him. He's the LTL guy in our space, hands down. Gabe, what's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Monday morning, ready to get after it. Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Dude, absolutely. See, I brought Gabe on today because, you know, he owns a brokerage. He's out there. He's in the industry every single day. He sees a lot of this stuff, and we're just here to talk about those solutions. So, Gabe, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man. You're out there in North Dakota.
Fargo, North Dakota. So yeah, I own a company called Rocket Shipping, and we specialize in LTL and e-commerce distribution. We move truckload as well, but our focus is the e-commerce, LTL, residential delivery. But I've been in LTL about 7 years now, and so that's the world that I've known, and I've been following your stuff as well, and so here we find ourselves.
Here we are. Gabe was a guest on my podcast as well, Coffee with the Freight Coach. Check that episode out. But hey, before we jump in, you guys, as always, the show is brought to you by VHub. My friends over there at VHub, you guys are revitalizing the transportation industry. Asset reutilization, you guys, is the wave of the future. Gabe, when you're out there cold calling, how many times do your customers ever ask you if you have access to assets as a broker?
It depends. Pretty much 3 times a day.
Okay. So as we all know, when we're cold calling, that's our biggest objection. Well, our friends over at VHub literally have a solution for you guys right now. You have trailer repositioning and asset reallocation that's available out there, you guys. So as you guys can see right here, they have trailers that, and you guys get paid to do this on top of the freight that you put in the back of those trailers as well. So as you can see, they have repositions available originating in the Chicagoland area, going up into Western Canada, as well as into Toronto and Montreal. And then they also have some round trips available as well, you guys. So again, when you get these power only opportunities that are coming up here, we need trailers. Those drivers need to get back as well. So you can have stuff originating down here in the York, Pennsylvania area, going up into the Montreal area. And then they have different destinations coming back down. So again, it's building out this trailer matrix for you guys. And again, like, this is what gets you in the door with a lot of those large enterprise shippers that you want. They're not working with you as a smaller broker because you can't drop trailers. Well, you can with VHub. And as you guys can see here, they have these one-way positionings as well. All right. So they're coming out of Glade Spring, Virginia. They have them up going into Winnipeg, which is just north of Gabe there. And then Edmonton, as well as over to Vancouver. So again, you guys, check it out. We got to think outside of the box, because no matter what, you guys, freight's still moving right now. There is abundance of opportunities in any freight market. And now there's solutions out there that are for you guys to help you navigate through into these steps. So again, check them out, vhubapp.com. Hit up my man, Xavier Campos. He's my point of contact over there. He's the one who can help you guys and get you guys some more information about this. Good morning, Samantha Bass, Stephen Peterson, Papa Freight. He's in the audience as well as LinkedIn user. I'm assuming it's Matthew Fink or Kyle Provost or Todd Waldron. And I've just got a bunch of names that are up there because they're the only ones who come across as LinkedIn users. Also, this is the last and final check. You guys, I've been saying this now for the past couple of weeks, every single day that we go live. International Road Check starts tomorrow. Okay, May 17th through the 19th. Wheel End Components is the emphasis on it as well. So brokers, you're going to be having some carriers who are literally going to shut down this week. They're not even going to move for any fucking dollar amount that's out there. Take that with however you want. But again, capacity is going to tighten up. So those carriers that are running this week, I think you're going to see, historically speaking, you're going to see those spot market opportunities that have been getting gutted here recently. That's going to start to increase. I would assume, based off of my firsthand experience in this industry, spot market rates are going to bump up here this week because of this, because capacity is going to kind of leave. Because there are trucks out there who just aren't even going to fuck with this at all. Yeah. And then also the price of gold, it hasn't been updated yet. So I checked EIA.gov for that. Gold, AKA diesel, is still at 562 as the time of this show. But they'll be updating that here later today. And I'll put that up there to keep that fuel up to date as well for you guys, to give that daily update. And as well, we're at day 26, Gabe, of the freight coach tally of there being a parking issue in this industry, as well as facilities that don't allow drivers to use the bathroom. So again, I'm not going to let this shit die out because it's popular to only post it during certain times to get some fucking clicks. And I'm not about that. I'm about actual change in this industry and progress. So I'm going to literally bring it up every single day. And, you know, I'm starting to see some change. And again, I will bring this up until I'm blue in the face, until, you know, we have things out there. And again, I do see the other side of the fence, though. I do see why certain facilities wouldn't allow that. But again, I think that's a pretty big thing. I mean, do you close the bathrooms for people at your place, Gabe? Ever?
No, we actually do not do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that during COVID,
curious.
that was a whole different argument. And now it's got to go back to where it was.
No, absolutely, man. So Gabe, how long have you been in the industry for now?
7.5 years.
7.5 years. How many market shifts have you seen in your career?
3, probably.
3?
I mean, came in 2015, so 2016 was a pretty big surge. 2019 turned down. 2020 was 2 cycles in and of itself, and now we're here.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Is it's like there's just so much volatility in any market, but in any market, there's always going to be opportunity. You know, and that's what I want people to focus in on. So I mean, I think right here, I would advise all of your guys to be absolutely going gangbuster on the phone right now. Because as this, especially in the truckload world, as the market shifts into a broker's market, which it does when the spot market kind of tanks and everything else and all this other shit that's going on. But again, what do? I mean, greed's a real thing. So people are going to try and push that a little too far right now because, you know, for whatever reason, everybody's made money over the last 18 months in this industry. So I don't want to hear this fucking, we
plenty of it.
Yeah, exactly. People are making money hand over fist, and especially with all the publicly traded earnings reports that are coming out. Doesn't look like anybody's suffering from cash flow issues per se. But yeah, so like that's the thing, is it's like as this market shifts, like you guys dig your heels in and go fucking absolutely gangbuster in your cold calls right now, because I've noticed that the top sales reps, in my opinion, they never stop selling, especially when that market starts to dip into a broker's market. They know that's where the blood is in the water and people are going to start going after that. So then they're going to amplify their cold calling right now to be in front of literally everybody, because you got to think people fail on loads when they're holding out for a rate. All right. In their mind, they're going to fucking pay $1,500, for example. They're holding out for that rate. They're going to wait too long. It's going to get too close to shipping time. There's going to be no capacity, and then they're going to fail. And then they're going to try it again tomorrow. They're like, we got another shot at it. So let's try and get it for $1,500 tomorrow. Well, then it's going to get to that moment where they're going to push it too far. And then boom, there's your window of opportunity. But you won't get that window of opportunity unless you're in front of your prospects.
You got to be on the phones. Yep. For sure. I got all my sales guys and gals. Like, this is where I've been hiring like crazy, because as the market turns, we're going to take half of it because we're going to be aggressive in the downturn as well. So I've been seeing this coming for a while. I don't know how hard it's going to turn, but it's obviously corrected a bit right now.
You know, and that's the thing, is it's like at the end of the day, like markets change, you guys. Like markets change. Like what can you control though? And then like, how do you execute? Because that's what can't change, is you need to execute in any market. But the thing is there's an opportunity in any market, you know, like regardless of the noise that can be out there, you guys, there is an opportunity everywhere. All right. Because as long as there's trucks moving, people are still making money. All right. And I know it's dicey for certain individuals right now, but that doesn't mean you quit. All right. That doesn't mean you quit. And we're going to dig in our heels and we're going to kind of talk about some of this stuff. And that's, again, at the end of the day, Gabe, it's here to provide some actual insight for people. All right. As opposed to just a headline, we're here to show people how to navigate through some of this shit.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. You ready to dive into our first article?
Let's do it.
All right. This one's coming from Freight Waves. Truckload van spot rates fall even faster. This one was written by Craig Fuller, the CEO over there. And it was the it's over the past 4 days, the deterioration in truckload van spot market has accelerated, falling over 2 cents per mile per day. That has been out there, and that's kind of been averaging over the last 3 weeks. And then the phrase of 100 days of summers is used in the trucking industry when it comes to beverage, construction, and summer goods all surge. It says that this market's going to do the opposite in there. And then the decline coincides with the largest level of cost increase to ever hit the trucking industry. Inflation is roaring, with wage, maintenance, equipment, insurance, and most importantly, fuel squeezing spot market truckload carriers. Retail diesel is up 53 cents a gallon alone in the last 30 days. And it's about 8 cents a mile if they're averaging about 6.5 miles per gallon on their truck is what it puts out there. And then in this same 30-day period, spot line haul rates have declined by 28 cents a mile. So from your perspective, when this happens, how are you going out there? Because I know like there's no difference in what you see on the LTL side than what we see on the truckload side on strategy, right?
Yeah,
because it's like
different modes, same strategy. Yeah.
Yes. So how do you work through that?
Well, when things are booming, we just take increase after increase, and we're trying to make sure that one, we communicate why the increases are coming and what's going on, and we're very proactive in communicating with our clients. We give them industry articles and we give them our take on it. But in the second sense of that, when things correct, for me, I kind of get a little bit excited about pricing again, because instead of taking increases, the good brokerages and the good sales reps know how to go out and negotiate with these carriers and say, hey, I have freight for you. Let's lock in a better rate. Let's do a CSP. And it becomes a shipper market, or I would say a client market, instead of a carrier market. Now, you have to bring the information the same way, because most of our clients are seeing cost increases across the board on other things, as the article kind of said. But we can probably get some decreases in LTL rates right now, or at least it's turning that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it goes on to say in here that capacity booked by spot market carriers under the most pressure, but may begin to include loads tendered to freight brokers under a contracted rate as well. It says currently that is not showing up in FreightWaves data on contracted van rates, but we are seeing an acceleration. We are not seeing an acceleration in contract rates either. The spread has never been wider between spot and contract overall. So I think like at the end of the day, with me, seeing this stuff. And again, it doesn't talk like I would love to see, and I'm trying to, and if anybody has this information, please let me know. What is the annual truckload volume for like on a year by year breakdown, 2020, 2020. I've been searching to find it. Again, I'm not the smartest guy in the fucking room. But I'm trying to find that information out there because I want to see overall volumes, because again, as markets shift like this, you guys, as people are honoring contracts, yes, spot market opportunities are pretty much drying up as it shows. And as I've mentioned in the past, that when contracted volumes are up, and that's where the freight is. So again, if I'm a carrier right now and you have that and you're trying to lock up something with brokers right now and you want to get off the spot market, have deeper conversations with them, because again, you can identify those brokers who are in this for the long term and who are in it to only drive down those prices on it. Because again, I've moved some freight for the highest volume shippers in North America. All right. I do not give a fuck what I can get on the spot market on a given daily basis on every single lane out there, because my volume lanes that I'm moving every single day, I have to fucking move them because I'm gauged with like the RFP process. You guys, as a provider, you are literally scored on your tender acceptance, your on-time percentages, and your performance. If you are in this for the long term, you're not risking losing that $100, $200, $300,000 a month account to save 50 fucking bucks. All right. And if you are, there's a bunch of savages. Yeah, there's a bunch of savages out there who are waiting for you to fuck up, because that's just the reality of this right now is, again, so if you're a carrier and you're looking for brokers who have it long term, if they can't answer basic questions, or if they're not telling you that I have this load 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20 times a week, whatever that looks like, they're not concerned about long-term partnerships. Okay. So when you're out there, and then brokers, furthermore, don't fucking let all of this shit fall into the spot market like you're going to be tempted to do. And again, and I'm not telling you to not make money here, but you need to think, how can I sustain this for the next 12 months? Okay. Because if you don't have skin in the game, if you were handed an account that just produces, you don't know how hard it is to get these accounts. All right. I've built books of business from nothing. All right. It is fucking challenging to get these large enterprise shippers that are out there. But when you get them, focus on retaining them. And retaining them does not include driving down the fucking prices so much that you're rolling the dice every day on if you're going to pick up this freight or not.
So are you saying they're going to go play in the spot market because they know they can make a better margin? Is that basically what you're saying?
Some people will. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, naturally. And I'm not saying don't do that on certain freight markets. Like, I'm never going to say don't make your money, but if you're playing this long term, I'm solely scored on trucks showing up on time. All right. I am solely scored on my performance. And as we all know, that saying, what's cheap isn't good and what's good isn't cheap. All right. So if you're truly concerned about navigating through a market shift, you need to focus on, how do I keep these trucks running? How do I keep my carrier partners profitable? How do I keep my customer profitable? And then how do I keep myself profitable?
Yeah. Makes sense, especially if you're in it for the long term. And that's not what everybody's out there right now, obviously. But
and that's the thing, man, it's like, it's not your typical shift from a carrier market to a broker market, because generally historically speaking, in my history, when it shifted from that, we were paying $5, $6, $7, $8 a mile to a carrier, and our margins were fucking pitiful. You know what I mean? We were breaking even, we were losing money, whatever that looked like. So when it shifted back, like, yeah, we wanted to recoup some of our earnings in those times. But now, you guys have all fucking made money. The shipper hasn't made money. The shipper's had their, 40% over their budget. I would be extremely cautious on servicing that account, because if you don't think that those shippers know who's actually been their partner over these last 2 years, as opposed to who's fucking gutted them, you have another thing coming. You haven't been in this industry long enough to know that you are literally about to get your throat slit and kicked off the side of the fucking ship when this stuff happens.
Yeah. And to put that in the LTL market, the same analogy of going to the spot market to increase margins, a lot of the LTL brokers will go and renegotiate either, blankets or CSPs, and then not involve their client in it. Right. And so they just go increase margins. And that's happened in 2019. That happened quite a bit. I was around some of that, but this time they were making record margins anyways. And every client that I've worked with is taking it in the shorts on LTL pricing right now. So if we don't provide the discount, somebody's going to. One of our competitors is. We're going to lose our clients. So you have to be proactive on that.
Yeah, you have to. And again,
just pass it on. You just have to be transparent, pass on the savings, because it's going to come back again.
That's exactly it. So Gabe's coming to this, you guys, as a business owner. All right. Gabe has a staff. He has to think about the longevity of his company. He's clearly, as you can tell in his answers, not thinking about, how do I only worry about the next 30 days? And that's what a lot of sales reps, and again, you guys, I'm guilty of this. All right. That's why I'm so openly talking about a lot of this. I've done all the bullshit. All right. But it never got me anywhere, because I had a paycheck getting deposited into my bank account every 2 weeks, regardless. All right. But when you're thinking about this from a total ownership perspective, and how do you sustain through any market, you cannot be concerned about, how do I make $1 billion today if it's going to cost me 10 billion tomorrow? And my math is bad, so don't fucking hold me to it at the end of the day. But again,
that's Elon Musk math right there. Billions. We're talking ones and tens.
Again, that one was from Freightwaves, written by Craig Fuller. Truckload van spot rates fall even faster. Again, we got to find a solution no matter the market, you guys. It doesn't matter.
Freight's got to move.
Yeah, freight's got to move. And if freight's not moving, we have a big fucking problem that all of us aren't probably prepared for, because that's some biblical shit at that point if truckloads aren't moving. Hey, Renee Johnson has a question for you. What's a great rate for you, Gabe? Renee,
I would need more context, probably.
Yeah, Renee, I thought you were Truckload. Gabe does LTL. Primarily. He does Truckload too, though. All right. Next article. Transport topics. This one was tough, man.
It was.
that US Express, and this came out on Friday, US Express cut 70 corporate and IT jobs. And, you know, it's really tough for me to see people because, like, dude, as being as heavily involved on social media as I am, seeing these people's posts, fortunately, if I'm looking for the silver lining here, they're at least going out into a job market where they're not going to have a shortage of opportunities because it's like whether they're
especially
in
IT related in trucking.
Yeah. And that's the thing is it's like, for me personally, at least they're coming out into a market. And I've already seen, shout out to my friend Kara Smith Brown. She was actively on there. She's owns a company out of Atlanta, Georgia, and was like, hey, we're hiring. Hey, we're hiring. Hey, we're hiring. So again, get active on social media. So if I'm any of these employees right now who are or former employees right now, what I'm doing is I'm getting out there, get an updated headshot on your LinkedIn, get your resume up to date, and then start networking. Start networking like a motherfucker. Because this is where I was 2 years ago when I was out of a job at the beginning of the pandemic. I was on an absolute mission to introduce myself to anyone and everybody in this industry. So I was candidate number one when people started hiring. So you're in a position right now where remote work is at an all-time high. So you can still live in Chattanooga because it looked like the majority of these people got laid off were in Chattanooga. I'm sure there's a ton of freight brokers and other companies that are trying to swoop them up right now. But if you're in that position and you're in freight, get your headshot up to date, get your resume up to date, get your LinkedIn profile up to date, and start networking with anybody. Take conversations, just get to know people.
Yeah, and if I would also give the advice of make sure you choose your next partner wisely, because this isn't US Express doing this is probably a sign that there may be others. And so, I would choose a brokerage that's in growth mode. That's what I would do.
And that's what they said in here is in the article. It says we don't expect as favorable of a market in the coming quarters as we've seen a slowdown in freight demand exiting the first quarter. Is what they said. Consumers are feeling the pressure from inflation, lockdowns in China. And then, it's just, for me, it's tough because it's like knowing that some of those people, they got families, they got, who knows, I don't know all their histories, but that's some real shit that happens. And I just want to see people bounce back quick and land in a spot where, again, you can't control a lot of this stuff. Cause again, like that's the ebbs and the flows of the business. As a business owner, you're going to have to make some tough decisions at times.
Yeah, I think they lost 8.9 million in Q1. So they had to. It sounds like.
They had. Yeah, exactly. They lost 8.9 million. I mean, that's a tough quarter regardless, but that shows the reality that even some of the larger providers aren't immune to some of this shit that happens. And again, I don't know their financials. I don't know any of this shit, but my message is this, you got to be prepared for this no matter what. And I would say the best way to prepare is something I failed at miserably for the majority of my professional career is I was a shitty at networking.
Yeah.
If you
not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But my thing is this is if you network with people, you'll never have to apply to a job ever again. If you get out there and just people know you, dude, there's so much power in that. And that's what I want to see people is like, looking from the positives. And then furthermore, there's never a better time than right now to start a business, in my opinion, because there are so many people who are sitting on the sidelines. And for me, if I was one of those people and you've thought about it, just fucking do it. Like there's no better time than right now because your back's against the wall and you have only one way to go, and that's forward.
Yeah, that's my philosophy as well. Is I'd rather jump out in front of it and control your own destiny instead of waiting to see if you're going to be one of the numbers that's laid off or the market's going to shift, and just control it. If you're ready for that, I'd take that back. Nobody's ready for that. If you think you can take that risk,
if you've ever wanted to be an entrepreneur before, do it now. Because again, like this isn't for everybody. Like, yeah, you're right, man. I'm still not like, I'm still figuring shit out, but I think like I will never like, again, and I've said this, dude, I will never rely on anybody for a paycheck ever again. I will fucking figure this out. I have one plan and it's this working, and that's it. Did I lose you? Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Gabe?
I think I lost you.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you lost me.
Yeah. Is that North Dakota Wi-Fi, bro?
I can hear you, but it's choppy.
No, we're all good, man. That one was from US Express, cut 70 corporate and IT jobs, ttnews.com. Check it out. The last and final article is also, this one's from Fox Business. Its self-driving truck company looks to fix supply chain issues for the long haul. Again, it's talking about autonomous trucks, and then let's see. As supply chains disruptions signal they're potentially getting worse, and 80,000 truck driving positions remain open in the U.S., one software company has a closer solution for the transportation problem. Oh, wait, there's more. That sounds like a fucking infomercial for me to start this off. It talks about Embark Trucks, though, an autonomous company that's out there. The reason this is so exciting is that we can partner with drivers and allow single drivers to operate within a city. And then it also has driverless truck can go between those cities and dramatically improve efficiencies. You can see a driver of this truck with more than double the utilization of what you can get under the federal hours of service with a person behind the wheel. Are you, is this still kind of choppy over there, Gabe?
Yeah, it's still choppy on my side, but I can hear everything you're saying.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on this article, man?
It's suspicious timing to me, but I mean, but it is interesting, driverless tech. Obviously Uber Freight, Elon, everybody's trying to get into it. I'd never even heard of Embark until you sent me that article. I'm not big in that space, but they're not obviously a major player in the news. But it is, right now, I think the article said that they had to have a driver in the truck anyways for now. And they're trying to do away with that, and they can 5x the productivity because they can just have, pickup and delivery drivers, but not line haul drivers. Obviously it's coming. It is interesting that it's US Express that they're partnering with. And then US Express is obviously the article we just talked about. That was interesting.
Yeah. No, it was interesting to say the least on that, because it's, that's the thing is it's like, I think the autonomous craze is, I think, very overhyped in its current state. Now, like, I'm not going to say it's not a reality, because autonomous is going to be a reality at some point. But my thing is this, there's a lot of shit that needs to be put in place before this can be fucking rolled out at scale,
including laws and all of the Congress will have to act, and that'll never happen. So
yeah, exactly. We know how fucking up to date they are on moving fast. But no, like, that's the thing is, like, it talks like, and they mentioned this, the Embark CEO mentions, like, we can drive more, what you can get under the federal hours of service. They're not going to fucking just unroll this overnight. And furthermore, there aren't a lot of companies that have the bandwidth or the capital to invest in this stuff. Now, are companies going to do that? Of course. But again, 97% of the trucks on the road, you guys, are small business. They're 20 truck or less operations. I'm not saying that they're not going to look into it, but you still have a job. Like, the driverless trucks aren't going to replace you.
No, then you have to monitor the technology. So
yeah,
it is going to be interesting. I mean, even right now, if they, going to driverless might be a cost savings, but like, if you've been seeing anything out of Silicon Valley, VC money and PE money, the private equity venture capital, they're holding on to their purses a bit. And so they're not going to be making massive investments like they were the last 2 years. And so I think it will stall out. I think that's going to delay it quite a bit.
No, definitely. And that's the thing is, like, they're focused on near term, they're focused on like finding people who are going to be able to do this, without anybody in it in their truck, so that's where we're headed. And yeah, it's exciting. But again, I did another article on driverless autonomous trucks a while back, and the environment that they were driving in was controlled. It was sunny. It was fucking perfect weather outside. And again, like, I think telling the whole story here, it's a lot farther away than a lot of people will ever admit. Is it going to be a reality at some point? Absolutely. I can't say when. It's not going to be tomorrow. Like, fuck. It's like some of the article like this is like, oh, we're looking to do this. And that's the thing, man, is it's like Embark, I think, has a major fucking marketing miss here. All right. They're not you talk to any driver out there, there's no driver shortage out there. All right. And they're sitting here saying that there are, and that, oh, we're going to help. No, you're not fucking helping anything. Like, if anything, you're, I think, putting out a terrible message. behind this. A terrible message.
If you're appealing to the drivers, yeah, that's I think
Correct.
they're appealing to big money VCs, which is why they're probably marketing it that way. But I think you're probably right. They're missing, and they're going to miss the mark on it. The other thing too is that if they don't have, like, you talked about weather when it was sunny and everything, just now in the supply chain, anytime there's a winter storm, and I'm in North Dakota, so we get them every other week in the winter, like it throws a wrench in everything and people can't drive. So what are the driverless trucks going to do? Where would they park? We don't have parking anyways. Where would they go?
No,
to sit out a storm.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of cool things that are coming from a lot of this. Like, I think like the increased safety of the truck and those components, like obviously AI learning is going to make the road safer at some point. And I think like the adoption of putting some of that on a driven truck still, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
They just need a separate highway system. Just for
we just need to build an entire.
That's what they should do. Just put a second highway next to it, and then that's the driverless highway, and it goes from Chicago to LA and Chicago to Dallas and Chicago to everywhere else.
Yeah, and I think that's where you will see it.
Some people would call that the railroad.
Yeah, some people would call that the railroad. You're very right. Again, it's like it's one of those things that is it going to happen? Yeah. At some point, I just think that at the end of the day, though, if you're a good driver, if you're a small trucking company, you're not going to lose shit from this. There's a lot of freight out there, you guys. No matter what, there's a lot of freight. So again, Fox Business News, self-driving truck company looks to fix supply chain issues. That's it, man. How can you? Are you hiring? Anybody out there? Are you hiring remote work? How does that look?
We're hiring remote. We're hiring VP of sales. We're hiring VP of revenue ops, and we're hiring sales. And if you are an excellent LTL operator, I'll hire you tomorrow. We can't hire enough ops people. So reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's the best way to get a hold of me.
Rocket Shipping. Get in touch with him, you guys. Again, he's hiring. Get out there. Who knows, man? Maybe we'll just do like a Freight Coach job board or something like that.
That would be an idea, especially in this market. Anytime someone has a US Express, you just put up the jobs that are available. Connecting people.
There we go. Well, hey, Gabe, I appreciate it. That's it for today, you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. The Freight Coach Morning Show. We're the top morning show in transportation, breaking down 3 industry articles every single day to provide education and progress for this industry, because that's what it's all about here, you guys. Hit up my friends over at VHub, you guys. Asset reutilization is the wave of the future. I appreciate you guys all so much, and we're out.